Monday, October the 29th, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, public workers who recently received their walk-in papers from the government will get the chance to have their say at a meeting on Wednesday. The National Union of Public Workers has summoned its displaced members to its Dalkeith Road headquarters to hear their concerns about the restructuring exercise and to tackle other outstanding issues. The union has already raised concern about the layoff process, and it says it will continue to press for further consultation to ensure ongoing issues are addressed. Wednesday's meeting will start at 10 a.m. A 30-year-old police constable today pleaded guilty to 14 charges when he appeared before Magistrate Wanda Blair at the Holetown Magistrates Court. Doreen Cumberbatch of Around the Town Spites Town, St. Peter, is charged with 13 counts of burglary and 1 count of being equipped. Cumberbatch, who is on suspension from the police duties, was remanded to Her Majesty's prison at Dodds until December the 10th. He's being represented by attorney-at-law Arthur Holder, while acting Inspector Janice Eiffel is the prosecutor. The government's honeymoon period is over. That's the view of political scientist Peter Wickham. Wickham tells Barbados Today the ruling Barbados Labour Party can expect some fallout from the public sector layoffs, which did not go as smoothly as the government had hoped. He, however, made it clear that Barbadians are still fully behind the Mia Motley-led administration.
As far as the warning signs are concerned, well, I think she's already seen the reaction to the layoffs, and she's seen that some of the promises she would have made, like, giving people a check, a letter at the same time, haven't been fulfilled in all instances, and she's acknowledged that that has been one of their disappointment. And also the extent to which, when it hits home, it will have negative repercussions. So you could argue that the afterglow of the election, I would say, has been used wisely to conclude an agreement, post-haste and to get things moving. I think that there are a few people who would seriously argue that the government has lost confidence in the people. I don't think that that is a serious reflection on anyone's part. So I think that they still have confidence. And my sense is that they can continue to push the program.
Meanwhile, the General Secretary of the Democratic Labour Party, Gyson Mears, suggests that Barbadians could be going to the polls in another 3 to 4 years. Speaking at a DLP branch meeting at the Princess Margaret Secondary School last evening, he claimed there were internal issues within the BLP. He said the DLP had to ensure it was ready to face the electorate and challenge party members to prepare themselves to fight for every single seat.
We have no shortage of people who are interested. What we need are people who are ready for the fight. Some people have already turned up for duty and have declared their readiness. We have people who have written to be candidates in several constituencies. We have people who we expect to declare as caretakers in the not-too-distant future. The specifics of those things, I'll let the President decide how much she wants to say about them at this time. Suffice it to say, we are trying to get the state of the party up, ready for the race, and ready to secure the majority of seats in Barbados again. If the Barbados Labour Party can win St. John, I believe we should be prepared to fight for every seat in Barbados.
Despite the DLP's crushing defeat in the May 24th general election, Mears insisted that Barbadians were still interested in joining the ranks of the Democratic Labour Party as it begins to rebuild. He said given the influx of new members since the general elections, the party was on its way up again.
We have had over 130 new members come into the party since May 24th. That tells us that people have recognized that the performance of the party in the last election is not the state and the life or the lifeblood of the Democratic Labour Party. Parties of this vintage go through ups and downs. We happen to be down at this time, but ups will come again.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. In Trinidad and Tobago, Police Commissioner Gary Griffith says the force will fight fire with fire, despite threats of a war following last week's killing of 5 people in Laventille by police. Griffith says criminals will be dealt with within the law, even as he debunked claims of a police death squad.
Police Commissioner Gary Griffith issued a stern warning to criminals, telling them not to challenge police with gunfire. But just days after, this 30 seconds video emerged on social media. In it, gunmen firing into the air, accompanied by a caption suggesting the battle lines have been drawn. While the origin of the video is yet to be determined, the TTPS stated that death threats and bomb scares were being investigated. And its leader, Gary Griffith, isn't taking them lightly as well.
We don't want a war, but we are not drawing first blood. They did. I am going after individuals who are involved in gangs and criminal activities. You will be appalled to know the information we have of some of those individuals that were involved in that unfortunate shooting.
Griffith is standing firm despite criticisms of the police's handling of the incident.
These police officers now are being accused, ridiculed and undermined by a minority, a very small minority, because it benefits them. It benefits them to probably sell newspapers. It is going to affect their clients who are the same criminals they are trying to defend. So they are persons as well. I am not here to deal with them. The day that they support me, then I am doing something wrong.
He maintained there is no death squad carrying out extrajudicial killings on behalf of the TTPS.
Not at all. And again, the question, it is comical. At no time has anything like this come forward. And it's just some senseless, baseless accusations.
The recent shooting has reignited questions over the implementation of body cameras. The police commissioner said it will be rolled out soon, but won't deter the police from doing their jobs.
And on the international front, an Indonesian airliner crashed into the sea today with the likely loss of all 189 people on board, as it tried to return to Jakarta minutes after takeoff. Lion Air flight JT610, an almost new Boeing 737 MAX 8, was en route from the capital to Pangkal Pinang.
Bodies and debris were recovered in Indonesia late Monday after a passenger plane crashed into the sea with 189 people on board. Search and rescue teams brought the remains to the Indonesian capital of Jakarta, while they were transferred to a police hospital for identification. The Lion aircraft went down not long after leaving Jakarta's airport. Flight JT610 apparently requested a return to base before it lost contact, just 13 minutes after takeoff. Officials now acknowledge there are likely to be no survivors. Relatives of some of the passengers arrived at Jakarta's airport looking for answers. Indonesia's president was there to meet them and insisted that rescue workers must work all night to find the body of the aircraft. According to flight tracking service Flight Radar 24, the plane was a new Boeing 737 MAX 8. Lion Air's CEO said the plane had an unspecified technical issue during a previous flight. He added that the pilots on the doomed jet had 11,000 hours of flying between them. Although Indonesia is one of the world's fastest growing aviation markets, it has been plagued by air disasters. Lion Air itself has had more than a dozen accidents in its nearly 20-year history, but none with fatalities since 2004. The airline says it has 10 other planes of the same Boeing model, but has no plans to ground them.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Now, you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic evening.